Hey everyone, in the new shop, working on customer stuff. Weird, I know. Today, I've got a 1972 340 4-speed Cuda. This is a pretty solid car. The only issue with it was it needed some floor pan replacement on the driver's side. It was a little bit of rust, a little bit of cracking because of the rust, and so chopped that out. Decided the customer wanted to do just a floor pan half, so did the driver's floor pan front and the rear footwell, also on the driver's side. Also, the back seat under the rear seat had a little bit of rust, which I'll show you. I'll show you all the floors that I've taken out so you can see. But there's a little bit of rust, so he wanted to have it replaced and get it fixed right. So we've got new AMD floors for the car that are getting replaced and patched in. And I had to take out, because I'm doing the rear seat, under the rear seat floor, which goes all the way up to the trunk pan over the rear axle. So in order to get that out, I had to disassemble the rear seat V-braces, and I pulled the floor pan, the passenger side rear footwell out, because of the way the floor pans lap in, and in order to get that rear seat pan out, I had to, it was underneath the footwell pan. So I got the footwell pan out, rear pan is now out. I'll show you where I'm at and what's going on. I've got, all the frame rails are open and exposed on top. I'm gonna go ahead and get those all cleaned up, prepped and painted, so they're gonna be good for another 50 years. So without further ado, I'll get you in for a closer look. All right, so over here behind me, I went ahead and laid out the floor that I have removed so far from the car so you can actually get an idea of what it looked like before I started. So let's go take a look. Here we have the floor as removed. So we have from the firewall all the way to the trunk pan. This is the driver's side. Obviously it's in pretty decent, pretty solid shape, except for, you know, this. And that was honestly the biggest issue with it. And so the owner just elected to replace the whole thing because of that. So drilled everything out, removed, cut in half to make removal easier. Removed the rear footwell, which also, as you can see, was pretty solid. Most of the problem with this car was here and the back seat underpan here. The rear footwell is mostly okay, save for this little area right here. And then this was pretty wiped out in this area. So I don't know, it looks to me like something kind of spilled in the car. Something that caused corrosion here that just wiped the local area out and maybe a little bit up here. But the rest of this car is just really, really solid. So went ahead and got this whole thing removed, new replacement over there. And that's the other footwell, which is actually in perfectly fine shape. That's that footwell. That is actually going to go back in the car once that goes in. So let's take a look inside. All right, my apologies for not stellar lighting. All I've got is a work light in the car. So as you can see, front floor pan is in. It has been welded in almost fully. I've got, the only remaining to do is just this seam along the tunnel. And then I've got to finish cutting out the 4-speed hole once again. And then in the back, we have giant gaping hole. So went ahead and drilled all the spot welds. As you can see, there's a little bit of rust in the frame rail from whatever leaked inside on the metal and kind of went through. So we're gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up. Nothing that's in here is any significant. It's just surface. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it all cleaned up, primed, painted, sealed, and happy. And then we'll do weld through primer on the seams where it meets the floor. Get all this cleaned up, the inner fender where it meets the trunk, all the way across and around. So next step is getting all that cleaned up. Alright, so as you can see, welding done. Floors in, new floors in, all welded up. The trans tunnel is in, done. Yeah, I kind of dropped the ball on the filming of this and actually getting it done, but nonetheless, it got done. Went ahead, plug welded everything that was spot welded. Did weld through primer on all mating surfaces. The inside of the frame rails was coated in rust conversion paint. The surface of the frame rail where the floor pan sits was completely covered in weld through primer, as was the underside of the floor pan where the welds are at. Got the V-braces back in because those had to come out. Discovered that they were both bent because apparently the pinion snubber had hit right about here on the old floor pan, bending it up, which bent this flat surface here where these mount to back and bent these V-braces with it. So I had to straighten those out. But got them plug welded back in, both sides, down there. And yeah, the floors are basically done. I got all the braces in the corners. The original floor pan section that had to come out to get this rear floor in, that's reinstalled. So pretty much all that's left here is just basically cleaning up all my mess, but cleaning up the original paint and everything, scuffing it up and repainting all the floor that the customer wants done. Yeah, Barracuda floors, done. Wanted to give a shot of the driver's side over here. You can see I had to do a fair bit of metal work on the original tunnel. There was some damage, like, you know, the hole that's here was all cracked and it was actually pushed up. That little tiny hole right there was pushed up and cracked all the way around it, and so I had to weld that all back a bunch. Did a bunch of body work on the tunnel itself because it was pretty beat up. There were some cracks in it, whatnot, but went ahead and welded it all back in right where the factory did and got it reinstalled. Also put the wiring covers back in, got those cleaned up, straightened out, and also re-welded back here. Yeah, so floors done. You can see seamed in the tunnel once I got everything fit, and yeah, super happy to have this thing basically wrapped up as far as the floors are concerned. So one of the other projects that was required on this This was a vinyl top car, and well, removed the vinyl top trim holes and body worked those out. I still have some other body working to do on the other holes, but everything is welded up all the way around. Yeah, vinyl top car. I suspect why this particular car was a vinyl top car, because somebody oopsed with the spot welder and pranged the seams pretty hard. It was actually the same on the other side. It was damaged in the same spot, and I think it also had a damaged spot from the spot welder that was outside of this region where the spot weld should go. So I think the factory said, well, yeah, we're just gonna vinyl top over the top of that so you don't see any of it. Just my theory. That being said, given that this was a vinyl top car, it was hiding a lot of damage, and not the usual damage that you would expect from a vinyl top car, that being rust. This was actually pretty solid. The issue was that somebody thought it was a great idea to repeatedly park their butt on top of the roof, and as a result, the entire perimeter curve of this roof was ringed with what I call eyebrows, which are highs as a result of the roof skin being oil canned down and back in a bunch of times in a bunch of different areas. And so there was literally eyebrows the entire perimeter of the roof. I'll throw up some pictures I have that I took of that. Unfortunately, no video, but there's pictures. Yeah, so as you can see, pretty torn up. So I've been working on body working all that back out, raising the lows. There's some pretty heavy dents up here, back here, that still existed along with the eyebrows. Raised all the lows up, and I've been working on shrinking out the highs that were in place and getting the shape of the roof back as it should be. So that's been a bit of a project, so much so that it actually involved me removing the roof cross member. And as you can see, yeah, the roof had been down and back up a time or two. So this cross member had to come out in order to be straightened and also provide access to where it was in the way on the inside of the roof, so I can body work the roof back up into place. You see there's a couple of marks that I've got on the roof where I've got known lows, known highs that I've marked, regions that I'm still in process of working on. But that is the update on the customer Cuda. I've got plenty of other body work to do on it yet, some more holes to fill, dents to pull out, things of that nature, and hopefully you'll see it here on the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more, push the subscribe if you would. Helps me out, helps the channel out, helps me bring you more great content much more regularly. And if there's anything you think I need to change, do differently, you want to see more of, see less of, go ahead and comment down below and let me know what you think. Until next time, thanks for watching.